You know, bacterial meningitis, I would say that probably most parents in the country don't even know what it is, let alone the fact that their children can easily be inoculated against it. And our 14-year-old son, after he attended the first event here, turned to his mom and I both and said, please, 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 can I have that shot? So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure.
What are the challenges to getting the public behind this that will offset the politicians or the medical industry being resistant to actually make this mandatory?
I don't really know enough about the politics of medicine to understand the ramifications of how difficult it might be to make it mandatory. But I think that the most important thing is for, as I said earlier, for people to be aware, because the more parents and families that are aware of how terrible this disease is and are aware that there's a vaccine for it, can bring to bear some sort of popular pressure to make sure that at least every parent is told about it by physicians and given the option of vaccinating their child.
Artists have more of a responsibility, being that the artist is the purveyor of the human condition, to really take the platform. I shouldn't say responsibility, but do you think that the artist is in a greater position to bring the public awareness?
Yeah, I think that any of us who are in the public eye have an opportunity to bring attention to something we believe in, and I think artists do. But what's really extraordinary are the people who aren't famous and who aren't artists and who are famous for some other reason, but manage through their inspiring lives and their persistence to bring something like this to public awareness. That's a much more extraordinary feat than someone like me talking to you about this event. Someone like Nick Springer, who was afflicted with this disease at 14 and can have brought it to such public prominence by his own force of will and inspiration, is to me truly an amazing person.
Honesty is killing me, because no, you really actually have a unique ability to tap into the emotions of individuals, and through your eyes we can have a better appreciation for what this disease is.
Well, I appreciate that, and I hope that my presence here could have some positive effect. Thank you. Real pleasure. Take care.
I'm going to give you a card. Our show, we also have. Do you mind coming back and let me stay for a second, or you want to go?
Give me 1 second. Oh, there's a picture that I want.
Get in there.
I like this one. And one right here, guys. Oh, and what's his name over here? Rich Thomas, down here. Thank you.
And Gary is the dad. Gary, you got a second?
Yeah.
Is it dad with your son?
Yeah.
Gary Springer.
Yeah.
You're once again overseeing this evening's activities. Tell us why you got involved initially.
Well, you know, obviously you'll meet my son later, but Nick, my son, came down with bacterial meningitis when he was 14 years old. And within a day of coming down with it, he was in a coma, and within the next 6 weeks he lost his arms and legs, legs below from the knees down and arms between mid-length. And my wife started the National Meningitis Association with 5 other parents, 3 of whom's children died of this disease within 48 hours. My wife unfortunately died a couple of years ago, and we wanted to do one of these things we wanted to do is really promote this cause and the disease in her memory.
Now, I noticed there's a lot of people in the public relations area in the world here, and I know that's your profession. You have a lot of support amongst your friends and family and professional associates?
We have great support. I mean, for instance, Richard Thomas is one of our honorees tonight, and Richard and I have been friends and working together since 1977. And he's given himself fully to the cause of the National Meningitis Association. He's hosted our last 2 dinners. He will do PSAs for us, and so he's getting the Nancy Ford Springer Inspiration Award. Jim Norton is our MC tonight, who's also going to be performing. And Jim is also an acquaintance and a friend, and is a very good friend of Richard's. And I said, Richard usually does this. I'm there, So people really are good. They come out, they help, they want to do things.
And for general public, what do you suggest?
I suggest you should get your children vaccinated. It's not a synthetic. A lot of people don't like vaccines, but this is a safe vaccine, and it's a necessary vaccine. And to go to the NMAUSA.org website to find out more information.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You bet. And I might be wrong about the website, so
we'll double check.
You double check. Thanks,
all right,
Paul.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. Nick, are you going to get in with all the girls? Okay, Nick. How are you?
Pocketbook is Judith Lieber. Gotta be.
I don't know. I interviewed Judith Lieber though.
I think it's Judith Lieber.
I can tell you if it's hand beaded because I grew up in the shoe business and hand
did you?
business.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
But I don't know if it is. That I can't verify.
It's a pair, actually.
I think I'm going to ask Sarah if she wants to interview me. Hi, Sarah. I made it.
One more, ladies.
Sorry for coming. We were going to interview him, but it's all good to. No, I was going to. Here. What, is that okay? I need Nick. I was going to ask Sarah to interview. Sarah, would you like to?
No, that's fine. He's been waiting for a while.
Okay.
All right.
Is that Fabergé or something?
Well, if you didn't grab me now, someone else would in a second. So yeah.
Okay, I'm with Nick Springer.
You've been very patient. You've been waiting. So thank you.
Because I have heard you speak, I have heard your passion, and we just spoke with your dad,
Yeah.
who loves you dearly.
Oh, does he? Wow.
does.
Yeah. Well,
With parents, one night.
parents are proud of you, and yeah, no, he's a great guy. Well, of course, my dad.
I'll never forget when I heard you speak in the Rainbow Room. I think it was the Rainbow Room.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Tell me about some of the things you shared with the audience at that night.
What I shared with the audience that night is I was the first Nancy Springer award, which was named after my mother. So it was very emotional. Obviously, it was the first year that we had these awards, but it was also the first year that we didn't have her. So obviously it was very emotional, and here it's 3 years later, and the award it means just as much. A wonderful man, Richard Thomas, is receiving it tonight, and I am very honored to be the one giving it to him.
Now, what would you say to other young people to, in essence, protect themselves, take care of themselves?
Oh, unfortunately, this is a disease that not a lot of people have heard of, and because of that, not a lot of people think it's that serious, when in reality it is. Just because it's a rarity doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And on that basis, you always want to protect yourself. You would rather, I'm sure anyone would rather have the vaccine and not need it than need it and not have it. You want to protect yourself. Parents want to protect their kids from everything that's out there. And this is just another thing that parents should be thinking of.
Do you know how you got it?
I contracted it from another person. The disease lives it travels from person to person, much like the flu or any other illness. And I most likely contracted it from another person who was at my summer camp.
In the camp?
Yeah, I was 14. I was attending a summer camp in Western Massachusetts.
Okay. So education is the key here, do you think?
Education is huge, but I feel that vaccination is the biggest prevention and the biggest thing we have in fighting this disease.
You're in New Jersey. You're a very honorable man.
Well, thank you very much.
Coming out and talking about it and
of course.
continuing to talk about it.
Of course. It's
During
important.
the year, are you out there talking about it?
Excuse me?
During the year, are you out there talking about it?
Weekly, I'm out there. Every chance I get, I'm out there talking about it.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Big smile, ladies. And a close-up. Excellent. Thank you. Right at Steve, guys. Big smile. Right there, please, right this way. And one more. One more. And Gene, if you could turn it towards Chosen, there you go. Big smile, excellent. And a close-up, cheese. Thank you, ladies.
We're here tonight at the New York Athletic Club, and I'm very pleased to honor my very dear friend, Chosen Nguyen from Vietnam. And one of the reasons I'm honoring her, aside from adoring her as a very special person, is because she's given so much to the children of Vietnam. Chosen, one of the things that touched me the most was when I was originally chairing this event and I spoke about meningitis, and you said, I don't know if the children in my country are vaccinated, and I would love to help the children of my country. And that really touched my heart, that you would be even more giving than helping the children, aside from helping them with music, helping them with medications and things. Do you want to say a few words about your charity?
Thank you, Sarah. It's an honor for me to be here tonight. Sarah knows me for the last 6-7 years, and when she mentioned to me about this organization, I was excited to give her the ambassadors, Vietnamese ambassadors to the UN, his number and contact information, and encourage her to connect with him and provide him the information that could be helpful for the children of Vietnam, because I think this cause probably would be in Asia as well, that not everybody knows. So I was very happy that Sarah mentioned it, and he and the ambassador called me back and said he will be very interested of knowing more about this. And I said to Sarah, maybe one day we'll be able to provide the vaccination for Vietnam. So being here for me tonight is really open up a new ideas and mission, hopefully, to the Vietnamese children, and along with all the friends here tonight, I brought over for this organization some Hollywood stars, and just to hopefully to be able to call more support in New York City and they are also very honored to be here tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sarah.
Could you just say something in Vietnamese for us, with that, and to the people of your country?
Cho Giang hy vọng mọi người, Cho Giang hy vọng rằng buổi tiệc hôm nay sẽ connect trực tiếp đến khán giả Việt Nam, và hy vọng rằng một ngày gần đây Cho Giang và Brian sẽ gặp các bạn ở Việt Nam và mời những người bạn Mỹ từ New York tới Việt Nam để ủng hộ tất cả những gì có thể mang lại ích lợi cho tình bạn giữa Mỹ và Việt Nam hơn. Xin cảm ơn các bạn. Chân thành cảm ơn.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled in your presence. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
It's something that could be easily solved with vaccination.
Vaccination. Okay, so I'll just do it very quickly, right? Okay, so I'm just going to say, you're going to say, why am I involved? You ready? Okay. I'm involved. Hi, my name is Brian Grazer. I'm involved in this organization because to help bring visibility to meningitis and the cures for meningitis, because it's a relatively simple way to cure this through vaccination, but people just have to have the awareness. And so, if I can be a tiny, tiny, small part, that's really all I want to do. So, thank you very much.
That's it.
Give kids a shot. For those of us who lost our children, and those of us whose children have suffered from meningococcal disease, we hope to give all kids a shot. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces here this year, and then so many new friends of our organization. We appreciate your support and are really honored that all of you came tonight. We will be honoring some very special people tonight. Dr. Jim Turner has been one of the nation's leading and first strongest advocates for meningococcal vaccination, working with the American College Health Association many years ago to raise awareness of the importance of meningitis vaccination on college campuses. Cho Giang Thi Nguyen was born in Vietnam with the gift of music, but also into the hardship of war. Through it all, she persevered to become a celebrated composer and pianist. She's also a person dedicated to helping others, including our organization, through her organization, American Families of Vietnam, which promotes education and understanding through music. Richard Thomas, a star of stage, screen, and television, and most recently star of public theater's Timon of Athens, has been known for many years, since the age of 7 when he made his Broadway debut in Sunrise of Campbell. And he has won the hearts of everyone at NMA by being one of our biggest supporters. Bart and Michelle Oates are a great team. Bart is a New York Giants and San Francisco 49ers football legend, Super Bowl winner, and now he practices law and commercial real estate. Michelle is president of the Colleen Giblin Foundation for Pediatric and Neurological Cancer Research at Columbia University. They are both very committed to serving others and support many charitable institutions. We're very honored to have them here. Organizing this gala has been a labor of love for all of us here at NMA, and there are many people that deserve special thanks. our honorary chairs, John L. Loeb Jr., meningitis survivor, team member, and past honoree, Nick Springer, our wonderful chairs, Sarah Herbert Galloway and Gary Springer, and a special thanks to Mike Russler of Affiliated Graphics, who underwrote and produced tonight's program book. I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce the NMA board, Leslie Meyer and Lori Dewar. Wave your hands. And I also want to thank Ms. Teen USA, Tammy Crawford, for being here to support our organization, as this is a disease that really strikes teenagers. And Tammy, can you raise your hand? I also want to acknowledge past honorees, Dr. Paul Offit, Dr. Nancy Snyderman, and raise your hands. And representing the CDC National Center for Immunization, one of last year's honorees, Allison Patty. Now, Richard Thomas has served as our wonderful MC for the first two galas, but this year we're honoring him, so we couldn't ask him to be our MC. Well, who can possibly fill his shoes? Well, we really like that. And it's my great pleasure to introduce tonight's master ceremonies and our special performer, the incomparable two-time Tony Award winner for City of Angels, Chicago, MAC Award winner, Best Male Vocalist, acclaimed director and star of great stage, screen, and television. Please welcome James Naughton.
The entertainment part. Get your coat and your hat, be your worries on the doorstep. Life could be so changed on the sunset side of the street. Can't you hear the bitter pack of the happiness that doorstep? Life could be so sweet on the sunset side of the street. I used to be walking the shade, with my blues on parade. I'm not afraid, because my worries are over and the road cars will run. Whenever I have a cent, I'll be riches right in forever. With gold dust at my feet, on the sunset side of the street. Grab your hat, you go, the best you can't leave your tongue, because that will go by and by. Just to let your feet to the side of the taxi. Can't you hear the pack, the rat-tat of the happy tune that goes there. Life can be so sweet on the side of the street that's sunny. I used to walk in the shorty with my boots on parade. I'm not afraid, cause my worries are over and the road goes still with the number. Now comes up and still breathes like roll us at our feet on the side of the street that's sunny. I'm not afraid, cause my worries are over and the road cross go with my number. Never comes out the bush can be rich like Pharaoh and how to be low. Roll us at our feet on the side of the street that's sunny. On the side of the street that's sunny. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, it's a real pleasure, an honor to be here tonight. I've known the Springer family for decades, really, generations of the Springer family. And it's lovely to see Gary and his mom here tonight and his son Nick. And I've also been a very, very good friend and colleague of your former MC. Richard Thomas and I have only done 5 plays together over something like 4 decades. The first one in 1974 out in Los Angeles. 3 plays in Williamstown, up in Massachusetts. And 5 years ago on Broadway in Democracy. So Richard and I go way back. And it's a real pleasure to follow in his footsteps here. You know, I think that any time I do, I've said actually before, and so I guess this is true, that any time I do any kind of a performance, a musical performance, and the way this came about, by the way, was Gary asked me if I would MC the show, because they were honoring Richard. And I said, sure. And then he called me and said, maybe you could sing a few songs too. So I said, sure, why not? But I thought as long as I'm going to sing a song sing a few songs to anybody, I always like to do at least one song by the King. Don't you think that's appropriate? You know, I think to tell you the truth, when I was a kid, the reason that I ever thought about being a performer in the first place was because I always thought it'd be so cool to be able to sing a song and then say, thank you very much. Are you lonesome tonight? Will you listen tonight? I'm sorry to be apart. Does your memory stay too bright someday? When I kiss you and hold you you chairs in your arms sing and play. Do you gaze at the ghost and picture me? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? I wonder if you're lonesome. You know, someone said the world is a stage, and each must play a part. Wait, I don't play the part, and you was my super. Act 1, which is 1 minute. I'll let you first glance. You spoke your lines so cleverly, you never missed a key. Then came out 2. Music and change, you are strange. You are never known. Honey, you lied when you said love me. And I had no cause to doubt you. But I rather go on hearing your lies than go on hearing you. Now the stage is bare, and I'm standing there looking so much. And if you don't come back to me, we can really split together. Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Every year I'm lonesome to you. Okay, I got one more song for you. You want to hear it? All right. requires a little setup, so you have to listen to the setup. For those of you who were talking when I said this a time ago, this song is going to require just a little bit of a setup, so give me a chance to do the setup and then you'll appreciate the song. Right? As I mentioned before, Richard and I worked in Williamstown. I was doing a play up there in Blackdown called Undiscovered Country, written by a guy named Schnitzler, with a very verbose translation by Tom Stoppard, but by the regular play. We do a cabaret in Williamstown after the play. The actors and some musicians go out to a restaurant, stay up too late. Most of the time these shows have a theme. The theme this week was places, so they were doing songs like By the Time I Get to Phoenix, I'll be on San Francisco songs. And I had this one song, and the director of the cabaret, Debbie Lapis, came over to me in rehearsal. She said, "Jimmy, we got this song we thought maybe we could do next week for the Places Cabaret." I said, "Yeah, I don't know, I'm awfully busy. I've got these thousands of lines to learn working at this playing a guy named Friedrich von Hofmann, who was not a very nice guy. Black Jenner was playing this beatific, angelic wife named Jenny." I said, "Well, okay, I'll come over and listen." So they put the tape on. And this guy started singing this song, and everybody in the room began to smile. I mean, it was fun. It was funny. It was energetic, to say the least. The only problem was it had more words than Friedrich. And I said, "How long before this cabaret starts?" She said, 8 days from today. I said, "Are you kidding me? I couldn't learn this song in 8 days, even if I didn't have to, if I wasn't in rehearsal. I wouldn't have to pass." And I went back to work. Well, I mentioned that Friedrich wasn't a very nice guy. Friedrich messed around on his wife, and she knew it. And he knew that she knew it. And so what he did in order to equalize things in their marriage, was he introduced her to the young Lieutenant Otto. And then he witnessed their assignation. And then he did what any self-respecting 19th century pre-Freudian Austrian gentleman would do. He shot Otto dead. As I say, Friedrich was not a very nice guy. And it was the summertime, it was Williamstown, and everybody was enjoying themselves, the audience, and they were out on the lawn, and I was dealing with Friedrich morning and every night. You know, you play a character like that, you get inside your skin. And there I was, spending my summer with Friedrich, inside Friedrich, and I was desperate to have a little fun. And I remembered that song. And I went back over and I said to Debbie Lapp, I said, "So when does this cabaret start?" She said, "Well, now it's 4 days from today." Are you kidding me? Well, I'm a desperate actor. I need to have fun. So give me the song. Let's see what we can do with this. And 4 days later. I was toting my pack along a dusty little lucky road when along came a semi with a high and heavy covered load. If you're going to win a pack with me, you can ride. So I climbed into the cab, and as I sat back inside, he asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and sand, and I said, "Listen, bud, I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the desert, bare man, and I breathe the mountains, every man. Travel out there with scary man. I've been everywhere." Okay, here we go. I'm in Pittsburgh, Parkersburg, Brattleboro, Colorado, Hattiesburg, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Denver, Omaha, Hatfield, Chattanooga, Shasta, Nebraska, Alaska, Oklahoma, Caribou, Waterloo, Kalamazoo, Kansas City, Sioux City, City, Dodge City, Road. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Every man, travel out and have a share, man. I've been everywhere. Guys, we don't need to sing it fast. Oh, you want to play like that, huh? Oh, what's that? Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Ottawa, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Waterloo, Austin, Richmond, Springfield, Bedford, Shreveport, Hackensack, Bonnet, Cadillac, Danville, Idaho, Calico, Arch, King, California, Nashville, Patrick, Tennessee, where we serve. I'm everywhere, man. I'm everywhere, man. From the river, man. From the trees, the mountains, man. Shout out, have a share, man. I'm everywhere. Yeah. And I gotta tell you, before that first time out, probably wasn't quite that smooth. There are a few train wrecks along the way, and the audience just like the train wrecks the best, you know? Love it, right? We love it when people mess up. I'm sorry I didn't give you that satisfaction. Well, it is a great pleasure to be here. And I have a couple of little things I want to point out to you. Thank you very much. One of which is that the silent auction closes at 9 p.m. So you have 51 minutes. And if you want to go out there and make another bid to see if maybe somebody else had that incredible picture of Pele. Did you see that? Okay. And then I think Joe Theismann's jersey actually has blood on it, right? From the... Well, let me just say thank you to the band. What about the band, huh? Dave's man on the sax. Dave Radcek on the drum. Dave Fink on the bass. 3 Daves and a John. John O. on the piano. You talk about small world. Dave Fink and Dave Radcek, the bass player and the drummer, and I all did City of Angels together. They were in the pit 22 years ago in 1989 when we opened up City of Angels. They were there for a long time. So it's great to have these guys. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce my old friend, Gary Springer. Come on up, Gary. And his co-chair, Sarah Herbert Calloway, is that right?
This is our third National Meningitis Association dinner, and it's just doing incredible. The awareness is out. It's a terrible disease. We all know about that, but we're getting it out there. A lot of it has to do with people who support us. Tonight, our chairman, co-chairman, Ambassador John Loeb Jr. and Nick Springer. Input, advice, and Rolodex have been invaluable. The Lynn Bozoff and the board of NMA, Lynn Bozoff has devoted herself totally to this for years, and the whole board has been so good. We keep on plugging our way, we keep on getting out. And it's gotta be. It's getting it out there and getting it out to people. We have wonderful honorees this year. Bart and Michelle Oates, congratulations. These are all people who believe in what we're doing, who have lent us their names, and allowed us to honor them, given us their friends list so we can pick them up. That's what benefits are all about, aren't they? But it's an honor to honor them. And Sarah over here. I mean, we've been co-chairs for the last 3 years. When I first started doing this, because my son Nick lost his arms and legs to meningitis when he was 14 years old. My wife was one of the co-founders of the Meningitis. And when this started happening, I thought they were going to talk to me about advice and talk to me about how to get it out to the press and the media. And the next thing I know, I was the chairperson. And I said, I don't want to do this alone, but I know a woman who could help me. Anything like this is put together with tons of people. Our auction, which as we found out has 51 minutes left to go, probably a little less than 51 minutes now. A lot of it was put together by good friends of ours, Matt Carberry and Errol Rappaport. And they, along with the group that really the organizers, they really went out and scoured. They attacked everybody and said, come on, you gotta give something, you gotta give something. And so we have some really wonderful things out there, and you should go and check it out. I'm really excited to have Cammie Crawford here, who's Miss Teen USA. We're hoping to have a long-term relationship with the Miss Universe program, which incorporates Miss Teen USA, Miss USA. But well, we have Cammie. But especially because of this disease can affect all ages, but it very much affects teenagers. And teenagers are the ones who are most susceptible. And to have Cammie here to lend her support and the support of the organization, and hopefully with an ongoing relationship, we'll be able to do some really good things, get the word out to the teens, because she's got the voice, she's got their voice. I of course want to thank my daughter, adorable Olivia, and my daughter Elizabeth, for just getting me through all this and keeping me happy and making it all happen. And very much, this evening is about not just making money, not just making awareness, but it's about the survivors, the families of the survivors, and unfortunately those who didn't survive, and that happens all too often. Disease. As you all know, many people die from this within the first 48 hours, 36 to 48 hours. And there are so many families here and people here whose children have not survived. Lynn Bozoff, who's our chairman and president of the NMA, her son Evan died of this disease. And there are many others here who have been affected either by the children dying or the children being I look at my son Nick, and he's great. He's a gold medal winner. He's a Paralympic athlete. He's a wild man. He doesn't have most of his arms and legs. Yeah, it's a little thing, but it's but it affects everybody, and it's a terrible thing. So mostly this whole thing is for those who didn't survive. And it's in your memory that we continue doing the National Meningitis Association and to push for everything, and it's you who propel us to go on. My late wife Nancy was one of the driving forces of the NMA, and I do this because I miss her and love her, and know that this became the most important thing in her life after Nick got sick, was so that this didn't happen to other children and to other families, and to promote the vaccination and to promote the legislation. And it's in her memory. Hi, Nance! It's a terrible disease. We've all seen the repercussions, whether personally or you've heard about it, you've experienced it, you know about it. In December and January alone in New York, there were at least 7 people who died in the New York area. A 53-year-old woman, a 40-something-year-old police officer, an 18-year-old star athlete from high school. I mean, he was the star in every sport in his high school. It can affect everybody and anybody. And it's a terrible disease. And what we're trying to do, along with organizations, drug companies who make this vaccine, such as Sanofi Pasteur, Novartis, and I don't know if there's any others right now, but those two, is getting the word out and getting people vaccinated. It's easy enough to do. It's a synthetic. It's not, you're not getting part of the disease. People don't like getting vaccinated. But it's easy, it doesn't hurt, and it doesn't cause anything but the opportunity of protection. And last but not least, before I introduce the lovely Sarah, I have to thank Ermenegildo's Xenia and Franco Sali, because they dressed myself, my son Nick, and Mr. Thomas